Excuse the sudden change of costume here. Polly is doing the recordings the next day. And let's come back here. We're at a transport layer service. And that is flashback a little bit. So we're now trying to design a network application. Right? We've discussed you need to first decide what is the architecture. Okay, is it server client? Is it peer-peer? And then you want to think about what language you want to use to program the app. And you learn that the processes running on the end systems will be transferring messages through this thing called socket. So after the socket, the messages will be going to the operating system. And at the top of the operating system is what? The transport layer. And that is the thing we need to decide here. There are multiple choices. Which one do you pick? Yeah, it depends on this thing. The nature of the application you're trying to design. So that includes the content types. Are you transmitting text? Are you transmitting audio, video? Are you transmitting game data? It also depends on the use. Okay. Is it more interactive or not interactive at all? It also depends on the user expectation. Yeah, sometimes that users are more used to, quick service, a very high volume service, they might be demanding more, right? So, to what level quality you want to provide your applications? Those are called the quality of service. The first is called the data integrity in the textbook, but what the authors of the textbook meant is reliability. Okay. So the text content here is the one that's particularly interesting and requiring 100% reliability. This type of content is very vulnerable to loss. Let me give you an example. Let's say you want to send a message back to the home universities, telling your friends that, hey, NTU is a really cool university. So you say NTU rocks. But if you're choosing a service, transport layer service that's not reliable, then hey, let's say these two characters got lost. Then this is subject to interpretation, isn't it? Yeah, your friend there might be mistaken that as NTU sucks. That would be the exact opposite of what you meant to say. Well, not to mention, hey, it actually looks similar to the F words, isn't it? So that is just to show you that text-based content, most of the time, we just set it to 100% reliability. So we pick a service that provides 100% reliability. Now, audio video, particularly audio video streams, then can tolerate to losses. As you're transmitting a stream of audio or video, if we lost a segment in the middle, if it's short enough, what human brains can do is to try to fill the gap in with the context before and after the loss. So those apps can potentially be loss tolerant. And the next service requirement that people often talk about is timing. This is better known as this, delay. Most of the applications does not require strict delay, but this type of application does require low delay. The interactive applications, so internet, telephony, as well as shooting games. First person shooting games particularly are very interactive. And those applications require very short delay. The delay needs to be lower than 100 milliseconds in order to make sure that the receiver of a message or a receiver of audio stream to think that you're saying it right now. And so they can talk back quickly. They can fire back quickly, all right? Those with high reflex might argue, hey, the delay needs to be lower than this. Yeah, as I said, right, first person shooting game. Someone with really, really good reflexive, ooh, they can tell. They can react real quick, right? So timing requirement, delay, so to speak. Third is throughput. I think a better way to call this is bandwidth. Okay, can we provide certain amount of bandwidth to transmit the content? The network bandwidth in particular. So some applications do require a good amount of network bandwidth in order for it to work effectively. So this is, streaming video. As you are watching here, a streamed video. What I'm trying to send out is this much, okay, 200 megabits per second. YouTube recommends a minimum of this much, 1 megabit per second. Now, if you're seeing the quality is already not that good, you see that 1 megabit is going to be worse. Now, anything lower than 1 megabits per second, you might not bother because the video quality is not so good, isn't it? Yeah. So you see also a little bit of the user expectation here, because we are pretty much spoiled. For a Ethernet fixed wire network, you definitely expect very high throughput, very high network bandwidth, and you're used to high quality video. So when it suddenly you move to 4G, then hey, that video might not be effective at all, not satisfying at all, right? But other than videos, most of the other applications are elastic, meaning there's no strict requirement that you want to guarantee a certain network bandwidth, right? So they will just make use of whatever throughput they get. Last, service requirement, security. Now this is actually something that's growingly important. In the 90s and the early 2000s, security was not even a service requirement at all. As at the time, people are yet to worry about providing better throughput, better timing services, better data integrity. Only these recent years, people are more aware about security issues, therefore begin to demand we provide enough security in the applications. And that includes two kinds of security. One is confidentiality. Are we encrypting data? Are we encrypting the messages so that people cannot hack what we're doing? The other type of security is this, data integrity. This is so that we can prevent any third party from spoofing our data and pretending to be the sender and send something that mislead us, okay? Falsified information. So all four together, service requirements, or also called the quality of service. So a big part of the network layer protocol design is to decide first, what is the quality of service that we're trying to provide, all right? So this part of the design is not technical. It's more that you need to think for your user. You need to think for the services such that the users using the application will be happy.